Hey guys, this is Kelly. Like I said yesterday, I was going to do a video, and now I'm going to keep up on my promise. As you all know, today is the 3-year anniversary of Michael's passing. He died June 25th, 2009, 2:26 p.m. Now, I'm trying to decide if I should just break this down into parts or just let it do its thing on its own. I was at home. My siblings were on summer vacation. My mother was out with my father for a little bit because she went on a little vacation of her own. Me, I was just getting up to take care of some stuff, possibly watch news, try to eat something. Um, I was watching HLN, and they were talking about this missing child that they were trying to look for. They actually found her. And then after they announced that they had found her, they went in and they did a breaking news bit. And I was sitting there thinking, oh, okay, what is this? And they say Michael Jackson's been rushed to the hospital. I'm sitting there going, oh shit. And they're saying, he's in the hospital. They don't know. They didn't know what his condition was. All they said was that he was rushed to the hospital. Me, I'm sitting here crying my eyes out, not knowing if he was going to make it out okay. And I sat there for over 8 hours. Anyway, they said that he was rushed to the hospital, and then Mike Galanos chipped in, whom I have mad love and respect for because he hasn't trashed MJ. But he went in and he said Michael's been rushed to the hospital. And they said then it went from Michael's been rushed to the hospital to Michael's, in a coma. He's not breathing, he's unresponsive, and I'm sitting there, I'm running in and out of the room, going to the bathroom, doing whatever, trying to keep myself from crying because I was in hysterics. And they kept showing pictures and video of him at certain events, and then it went from Michael's in a coma to Michael's dead. And as soon as I heard that, my tears just kept coming, and they didn't go away. They didn't stop. It kept coming and coming, and then I had to have my brother John tell my mother, call her up and say, Mom, Michael's dead. And she was like, what? And I sat there, I said, I looked through my tears, I said, yes, he's gone, he's dead. And I was in hysterics, I was crying uncontrollably, I was trembling because I was so scared and so angry. And I sat there and I just cried and cried and cried. And when my mother came home, she came home around 4:30, only to leave again afterwards to catch her flight. They kept showing pictures and concert footage, and I'm sitting there crying my eyes out, saying, no, no, please don't let it be true, no. And she came in and she saw the footage, the pictures and everything, and she said, I'm sorry, I'm so, so sorry. And she literally had to pick me up off the floor and hold me because I couldn't hold myself up. I was crying so bad. And I stayed awake for the rest of the night, only to sleep for a little while, get back up, try and eat some more, go to sleep, get back up. I went through this phase. I had to force myself to eat the rest of the rest of the month. So I was so traumatized and so pissed off. I didn't know how to deal with it. Plus, I couldn't really talk to anybody because there was nobody I could call. And I kept in touch with my mom. She said, you're okay, you're going to be okay. I'm like, I'm going to be fine. And I had to get drunk that night in order to go to sleep. It was that bad. And I don't normally do that, but I did that. And honest to God, I wish this never happened. I might as well get it off my chest now, since I'm letting it out a little bit more. This whole thing could have been prevented. It could have been stopped, but there's nothing I could say or do to make the pain go away. It's still there. It's always going to be there. People are always going to make comments. Oh, he was a drug addict. He was this, he was that. No. No. You know, Michael had his own share of problems. He was just like the rest of us, but because he was famous, because he was well known, he could not go anywhere without security guards and without the disguises because he couldn't go out shopping. A lot of us, we can go shopping and we don't have to worry about people mobbing us and making torrid remarks. Michael couldn't do that, and I'm more pissed off than sad. Oh, it's a combination of both because I I was my mother was there for me when she first found out that he had passed, and then I just kind of went through these phases where I'd cry nonstop and I wouldn't quit, and I'd shut everybody out, and everybody would be wondering what the hell is wrong with her, why is she acting like that? And then I'd tell them, and they'd say, "Oh, that's nothing," and it's just like, you don't understand. Michael is everything to me, not just to me, but to everyone else. He made it possible for us to enjoy what he had given us. He made us escape our troubled reality in life. And honest to God, if it weren't for him, I don't think I'd have the people that I have in my life right now. Because without them, I don't think I'd be this sane, especially with my mother, who now is with Michael. She's with him now. She's got peace. It's just, there's a whole bunch of anger and I wouldn't say denial, it's just being angry because knowing that this whole thing could have been prevented. It could have been stopped. But it wasn't. And now Joseph and Catherine are without a son. Jermaine, Tito, Randy, Jackie, Marlon are without a brother. Janet, Latoya are without a brother. Prince, Paris, and Blanket are without a daddy. And we are without our hero. It is sad that it had to take Michael to die for people to realize how talented he actually was, and how gifted he was, and what he was willing to do to put a smile on someone's face. It sickens me that it had to take him to die for people to realize that, because he had so much left to give and wanted to do so much more. You know, I might as well say this too. If I found out that he was going to be under this much stress for the tours, I would have wanted him to retire. Plain and simple. He didn't need all that stress. But I could see why he'd do it. He'd do it for us. Nobody else but us. That's how much he loved us. But I also think that he was under a lot of pressure to do this. And, I would have wanted him to retire. Because he didn't need that. And people say, well, don't mourn him. Celebrate his life. Well, it's kind of hard to celebrate his life when he's not here to see it. He's not here to have a young, new crowd of generations of people, kids, teenagers, older generation of people celebrate him for the stuff that he did, because everybody's saying, oh, he's wacko jacko, or he's, an addict, he's had plastic surgery, So what if he had plastic surgery? He didn't want people to know everything. He was a very private person, very private individual. And if Michael didn't want people to know something, he'd tell them, don't say anything. And, it really, more than anything, pisses me off that this had to happen. And I know that there's nothing I can do or say to make it any better. Because I know I'm not the only one that's pissed off. I just wish there was a different way of coping with this. I've just got done eating. I've had very little sleep, so sorry. If I look or sound tired, it's because I've only slept. I stayed up till I woke up at 1 this morning. Went to sleep. Oh, I slept. Let's see. I went to sleep around 11 or so, or earlier on in the afternoon. I fell asleep, and then I woke up at 1 in the morning, and I've been up ever since. So my sleeping patterns with this grieving process are really, I don't want to say extreme. I mean, people may see it as that, but I don't. It's just my way of coping with that. But I don't cope with it well. People cope with death a little bit differently than most, others. But I I had to really think about what I was going to say. And I think I just said it, most of it, except people are going to be asking me, other fans and what have you, non-fans, are going to say, well, let it go. You can't let go. I mean, you can let go to let the person rest in peace, but you will never ever forget the day that person left, that they died, because it's always going to be with you. It's always going to be a part of your life. And I said, well, let him go. Let him rest in peace. I'm willing to do that. But there's a part of me that's not going to forget what impact he had on my life. Because without him, I don't think I'd have, like I said, I wouldn't have the people that I have in my life right now if it weren't for him. My boyfriend, whom I love dearly, my friends, who I would love to mention, but it'd take too much time. So, you guys know who you are. You guys know I love you, and I miss you terribly. Um, Michael gave us something that was unique, very special, very, very gifted man. And it's sad that it had to take him to die for people to see his goodness, rather than look at, they chose to look at the tabloid stories and the people that want the money, and it really, really irritates me, because they want to say, oh, Michael's this, he's that. And then they want to say, oh, he was talented, but he had issues. Sure, he had issues, but he didn't always let it show. Because Joseph used to tell his children when they were kids, you guys can scream, cry, and yell and holler after you get off the stage. But right now, you have a job to do. Your job is to go out there and give these people a great show, because they spent hard-earned money to come and see you. So you can scream, yell, and cry later. But right now, you got a job to do. Go get it done. So and people are always going to ask me, well, what do you think about Conrad Murray? Well, I think he's a selfish son of a bitch. Yes, he took care of all the others that weren't famous, the normal people, the people that weren't famous, the low-income families and people within the community. He took care of them, he watched over them, but he did not watch over Michael. If he had watched over Michael, Michael would still be here with us. He wouldn't be buried. He'd be with his kids. And he'd be doing movies and probably doing more music for movies rather than doing what he had done, his own music. He gave us so much, and it's all we got left. We have pictures, we have video, we have speeches, concert footage. But for me, it's always going to be not just that, but how he carried himself, how he put himself out there to give the fans what they wanted, and sacrificing his time with his family to give us what we wanted, And they're gonna say, well, you should forgive Conrad, right? No. Part of the Jackson family might. Some fans might, when it comes to that, but not me. I'm not gonna forgive him for that. And God will have to punish me when I go, which won't be for a while. I love you, Michael. I miss you. Thank you for taking care of me and looking after me and making sure my mother had her time here on earth. Just take care of my mom. Give her a hug and a kiss from me. Look out for my guy. Keep him safe. Love you, Boo Bear. Miss you.